Hi everyone, it's Mike from the Rooted Light Project. I want to talk about establishing a living cover again. I've written posts about it, but I want to show you where I'm at and give you some thoughts about it. You remember, if you follow my post, that I started with the Laduna White clover seed. And the idea is you want short top, deeply rooted cover. And you don't necessarily need to bring in a bunch of different species. You can use what's around. You're just making sure that you want understory, you don't want overstory. You don't want grasses that's going to outgrow your plant. You want to keep things low and away from the foliage because it can become a vector for things like flea beetles. If you look right here, you'll see I have clover establishing, and then I'll have grass come up. So I'm just going down here and picking out what grass, but I'm not trying to be real picky about it. I'm just knocking it back, okay? Because grasses are part of it too. But later you will, as grasses get to overgrow, then you'll cut them back. And along the edges, I use a weed eater to keep them down. So I'm just mostly worried about around the plants. Like here's a basil that I'll leave. It'll get a little taller, but it'll work good because it attracts beneficial insects and it acts as a deterrent to bad insects. So you'll see things like, I'll keep like the dandelions and the things like that are going to form deep tap roots and are going to grow up. But for now, later I won't worry so much. And I'll pick the grasses out right here, see? But I'll leave the clover that I'm establishing. But I'm not trying to be, like I said, too particular about it. We're just knocking it back. And you'll see there's all kinds of little things like chickweed and things like that that are short top, that will come up in your living cover. That's just native. Best practice is to facilitate the native cover, right? That's what's there. That's what you can use. You don't have to bring in a lot of outside stuff. So as you can see, I laid down some diatomaceous earth because everything's close to the ground right now and I'm getting flea beetles. Here's an example of a plant that doesn't get very tall. I'll leave it. As the season progresses and your plants grow taller, then you don't have to worry so much about keeping things down from the plants. At this point, you'll start stripping the lowers and you'll leave a space there between there and the soil line. And you keep it dry as much as you can. You water deeply, but and not as often, right? But at first, though, when you're establishing the cover, you do need to moisten it like a couple times a day, and then down to once a day, and then like maybe 3 or 4 times a week. When it comes to what you can leave and what you can't that's native, you just